Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave from Corn Productions, Deep Dive TV Podcast. My co-host Stacie here to talk about the 2024 flick Time Cut for our second annual Halloween and Horror Month. This is the third movie in the Halloween Horror Month trilogy that we have going on so far. And we have a bonus movie coming up that doesn't quite fit into our plans, but that we decided to do anyway. But we'll talk about that later. The movie's description reads as follows. High school student accidentally travels back to 2003 and decides to stop the serial killer who murdered her sister. The movie's screenplay is by Michael Kennedy, the same writer as Freaky, and Hannah McPherson. And the movie was also directed by Hannah McPherson, 19 directorial stints, including 6 episodes of School Spirits, which has come up a couple of times in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it came up when we were talking about Totally Killer.
Yes. Before we go any further, I'll tell you a couple things. One, this is not a Sport Freak podcast. If you haven't watched the episode, I highly recommend you go check it out, and then come back and give us a listen. Secondly, if you're listening on the platforms this podcast is now available on, please follow, and feel free to check out our YouTube channel, Corn Productions, where additional content can be discovered. If you already are on our YouTube channel, please like, share, and comment, and subscribe to the channel. All right, Stacie, your thoughts on Time Cut?
Okay, well, first, I want to mention something. You mentioned the writer.
Yes.
Who's also the writer of
Freaky.
He actually also wrote It's a Wonderful Knife.
Oh, okay.
Which, if everything goes according to schedule, we're going to be covering in December.
Right,
which
okay.
kind of sort of fits this genre as well, except it's, Christmas holiday themed.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you mentioned this is our third.
Yes.
In this kind of little subgenre that we're covering of like the teen slasher sci-fi movie, right? We had Freaky, and then we had Totally Killer, and now we're doing Time Cut, and they all have weird overlaps, right?
Yes.
So like Freaky and this have the same writer, but Freaky and Totally Killer had the same production company, Blumhouse. This one's not a Blumhouse production. This one's actually made by the same people, and I don't know the production company's name, but they also did the Fear Street trilogy.
Okay, yep. That makes sense.
Which is kind of in the same wheelhouse a little bit too. Yeah, so it's very, very similar thematically to Totally Killer, which is why we put both of these on our docket. I had watched both of them before. I've been going back and forth about which one I like best. I think I have an answer, but I'm going to wait until we actually talk about this together to see if it influences my opinion at all.
See, I actually don't know that I can answer the question.
I like both of them, and I
Right.
like different things about both of them. Here's kind of where it comes down to. I feel like the first movie, Totally Killer, because we're dealing with two things. We're dealing with teen slasher, and we're dealing with time travel when we talk about these two movies. I feel like Totally Killer focused more on the time travel part of it and the slasher part. Like, no, not time travel, more of the slasher, like 80s slasher vibe is what I'm trying to say. It felt more like we were like in a different time, and it leaned into like, hey, it's a slasher and we're killing people. This movie, I feel like it leaned more into the sci-fi end of it.
Okay.
Where we're dealing more with like, here's a convoluted time travel story that you kind of really got to pay attention to understand what the hell they're even saying is happening.
Right.
And I've got lots to say about that as we go. But it feels less like we're leading into like, oh, we're in a different time, and let's talk about how this time is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say that the big difference for me would be that there's a very big tonal difference between the two movies. Whereas Totally Killer is more comedic. This one leaned into the drama side of things more than anything else.
It did. It leaned more into the drama. There are some funny moments, but you're right. There's less of them. And it's also less slashery. We do not have as many kills in this movie. Where I even saw people like on the IMDb for it, in the reviews saying, why is this listed as a horror movie? This isn't a horror movie.
I mean, it kind of
is. It is.
Yeah.
But also, well, no, we don't have a lot of death.
Right.
Even though we have a killer. So it's different, right? There's definitely, like you said, tonal differences. I enjoyed it, though. I think it's a fun movie. I'm glad we're covering it. And I can't wait to really talk about all the details with you.
All right. Let's. Anything else to say before diving in?
Let's talk about the era just for a second.
Okay.
So we were talking about the 80s last time.
Yep.
Which you and I are both saying it was a little bit before our time.
Yes.
Right? Like we're like a decade younger than those teenagers in Totally Killer. But it felt really nostalgic for us because we've always been for the 80s growing up in the 90s.
Right.
Now, this movie takes place in 2003.
Yeah, you would figure that we would feel more connected to this time frame because it was closer to our actual time frame as teenagers. But I feel less connected to it.
So, yeah, that's just what I wanted to kind of like touch on, and this is what's on my mind as we're talking about like that part of the story, like the when are we of it. So it takes place in April 2003, the past part. In April of 2003, I was a sophomore in college.
Mm-hmm.
I am only 2 years older than these kids.
Right.
And you're 3 years older than these kids.
Right.
So yeah, we're pretty much the same age as them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, off only a little bit. If we were in high school, we'd have been in high school at the same time as them, just on opposite ends of it.
Right.
Which is so weird to think about, because when we say, oh, they time traveled to that far past of 2003, we're like, is that even time travel? That's like last week.
Right, basically.
Except it's not, because we were 20 years old.
Does it make you feel old to realize they traveled 20 years into the past and it was like when we were 20 something?
It does. And
Yeah.
I think that's why we resist wanting to connect to this.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
When the 80s feel like that's where we should be thinking about when we think about our youth.
Right.
Even though that was our very young childhood.
Yes.
Because there's really only what? That was 87. This is 2003. That's 15 years. It's not that huge of a difference.
Right.
But also, it is.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one thing I was just really trying to look at when I was rewatching this movie for the 4th time now. This was when I took notes. Was just like, when are we and how do I feel about the past of 2003? And again, they don't lean into it too much. There's only really a few moments where they even like care that it's the past. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But I do have to say, I found myself singing along a whole lot in this movie.
Because you recognize some of the music.
And I didn't feel that way with Totally Killer. Like, there's a couple 80s songs in Totally Killer, but it wasn't the same vibe for me. Like, I like this music. Yes, that's where I'm leaning to, is music from when I was in college, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I was able to sing all the songs and enjoy it. And so, yeah, I guess some part of me does definitely resonate with this time period, even though it feels like I shouldn't, can't,
right,
but do.
Well, I think they lean into that less in this movie than they did in Totally Killer. Like, they specifically went out of their way to, like, bring in the 80s nostalgia into that. Whereas I don't think they did that as much. I can only really recall...
There's a couple, like, references to, like, social media not existing.
Right.
And again, the music. They play a lot of music. The clothes that they're wearing really is, I think, the biggest, like, thing is, like, oh, we're talking about fashion. And she has this whole, like, Y2K makeover.
Yes.
But other than that, yeah, it's just like, oh, we're, like, in the past because it's something that already happened, but we're not caring about when we are so much.
Right. Yeah. All right. Anything else to say?
Let's get into it. If this is your first time here, definitely go back and watch those other 2 movies that we've already talked about this month. But what we're going to do is we're going to go scene by scene. We're going to talk about every single thing that happened in the movie. We're going to talk about every single actor. And there's less of them this time.
Yes.
There's
only
only 20-something. Which that's something we can talk about at the end. I think we'll spend some time doing some compare and contrast. Like, I know I already just did a bunch of it, but more specific detailed compare and contrast about the way Totally Killer handled things versus how Time Cut handled things. Because even though they're very much, like, almost the same story, they're also very different in how they do it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so diving in. The movie begins at a teen party, the Spring Fling, with Summer, played by Antonia Gentry, 8 credits for her, including 31 episodes of Ginny in Georgia. And do you have anything for her?
She was in a film called Prom Dates, but Ginny in Georgia, she's actually the title character of Ginny.
Oh, okay. She's approached by Quinn, played by Griffin Gluck, 39 credits, including a season of Cruel Summer, which is a movie or a TV show that I've discovered thanks to you during the course of these last 3 weeks talking about these 3 movies.
Right, because we had a couple people from Totally Killer who was in Cruel Summer. Griffin is in season 2.
Okay.
So he's in it not with Olivia Holt, but with the actor
who played Randy.
Randy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was in season 2.
He was also in Big Time Adolescence. He was the lead opposite Pete Davidson, and the movie About a Boy.
He also was in 18 episodes of Lock and Key.
I saw that credit.
Which our friend Jamie Maguire did background in that series.
Yes, he did.
So they might have met.
You might have.
It all comes together.
It does. Yep, it all circles around.
And yeah, this party you're talking about, this is taking place on April 18th, 2003, and we're in a barn at some farm.
Yes.
I don't know why we're having a party in a barn, but that's what they're doing.
It has to be one of their friends' houses or something.
Right.
Yeah. So he's surprised, Quinn, that she came out because her friends recently died. She's surprised as well, and she admits to not doing so well. He tries to give her a card, but he's interrupted by Ethan coming out and greeting Summer. He's played by Samuel Braun. 23 credits, including Honor Society, an episode of Firefly Lane, and Superman and Lois.
He also was in 11 episodes of The Way Home, which is a time travel series, and it was just recently added to Netflix. That's one I want to watch. It previously wasn't available to us. It's a Hallmark show, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I remember wanting to watch it at some point. It was like, oh, you have to subscribe to Hallmark, whatever, and I didn't want to do that. But now it's on Netflix, so I'm like, I want to watch that one.
All right, sweet deal.
Oh, and Ethan's last name is Myers, which very clearly feels like a nod to Michael Myers.
It absolutely does.
He also is...
Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing?
Yeah, kind of more of a red herring, right? We're leaning to think that maybe...
Oh, we're talking about Ethan, that's right.
Ethan.
Yep.
Oh. You know what? I didn't realize that. The sheriff's last name is Myers.
Oh.
And Ethan's last name is Myers. Is that Ethan's dad?
Must be.
The sheriff that comes? Or did I mess up one of my notes?
I don't know.
Well, I'll have to double check that, but we definitely have the sheriff's last name is Myers, and I have here that Ethan's last name is Myers, too. I'm going to look that up while we keep talking.
Okay.
Somebody's named after Michael Myers.
She is soon hugged by her friend, who says she was at the ball when it happened. Who is this person?
I was not able to figure out which character this was. Unlike our last 2 movies, which were on Amazon Prime, and kudos to Amazon Prime because their X-ray feature is amazing.
Yes.
Specifically for the way we take notes and trying to identify every single person. This is on Netflix, this one. And nothing wrong with Netflix, but they don't have that feature, and it's a little harder to figure out who the heck is who.
All right. And then we get an ominous shot of a masked man in the barn. Before cutting to a speech, basically Ethan gets up and raises a glass. A speech for the fallen classmates, Emmy. They mention Brian and Bao having been murdered as well. We see a brief shot of cops coming. Ethan says he just wants to get drunk and forget about everything. Summer wants to be left alone. Ethan ends up pouring a drink on her because a classmate knocks into him. You know, we've talked about similarities between this movie and Totally Killer, but this is a moment reminiscent of Freaky because a similar thing happened in that movie where a drink got spilled on the girl and the girl, runs off and then has to go clean herself and then she ends up dead.
Right, which makes sense because it's the same writer.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Also, during that little scene where we saw the cops coming, that's where we get our little town placard telling us where we are. This story is taking place in the town of Sweetly, Minnesota.
Very sweet. She goes away upset, finds herself in the barn. We have a shot of the police walking up to the party. This is Sheriff Myers, as you mentioned, and Deputy Craven. Myers is played by David Lawrence Brown. 72 credits for him, including Normal, Nobody 2, and X-Men, the first one.
I'm sorry, which person were you just talking about?
Myers, David Lawrence Brown.
I have he was in Orphan First Kill, The Grudge, and 2 episodes of Friday the 13th, the series, going way back. My phone's not working right now for me to pull up the information about Myers, but the sheriff's last name is definitely Myers, and if Ethan's last name is Myers too, which is what I have in my notes, that means they're probably related. They didn't focus on that in the movie.
No.
And then Deputy Craven is the other cop, which obviously is a nod to Wes Craven.
Right. And he's played by Adam Hertig. 86 credits for him, including The Long Walk. That's a very recent Stephen King movie. Nobody 2. So he was in the same movie as David Lawrence Brown. And the original Nobody.
He also is in 4 episodes of The Spencer Sisters. And a whole bunch of Christmas movies.
What's also interesting is the movie Normal that I brought up for David Lawrence Brown. That also happened to feature Bob Odenkirk, as well as in Nobody 2. Bob Odenkirk, who played Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad.
Okay.
So, the cops break up the party as Summer attempts to clean her blouse and freshen up, but she soon finds herself on the run from her killer. She hides in the barn, which is where the killer finds her. We see her run from the barn, and then time cut appears on the screen, and then we have our credits.
And he kills her
Right.
with a scythe.
Ah, yes.
Which is something we brought up when we were doing Time Cut. Because a scythe came up in Time Cut. Am I right that the scythe was in Freaky somewhere too?
I don't remember, but it would make sense.
But it definitely reminded us of Revival, which we recently covered. So all kinds of connections.
Yep,
but yeah, the scythe actually comes up a bunch in this movie, if you're looking for it. And the killer, by the way, the slasher, is played by the stunt person, B.J. Verreau. He did stunts in The Long Walk, A Clown in a Cornfield, and also acted in that film, and Violent Night, and acted in that film as well.
All right, so we cut to present day, where we meet Lucy, played by Madison Bailey. 18 credits for her, including 50 episodes of Outer Banks, an episode of American Horror Stories, and 6 episodes of Black Lightning.
As well as 1 episode of Mr. Mercedes. You know, every time I see her name, Madison Bailey, my brain scrambles it, and I think of Bailey Madison, who I'm very familiar with, and I go, no, she's not in this movie.
By the way, she was also a co-producer on this movie as well.
Yes. Do you know who Bailey Madison is?
No, I'm not familiar with her.
You'd know her if you saw her. She was, she played Child Snow White in Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
And she was in The Fosters. She played Callie's estranged little sister.
Okay.
And she eerily looks like both those actresses.
That's funny.
Jennifer Goodwin, of course, you know, being the adult Snow White in Once Upon a Time, and her name's escaping me, the actress that plays Callie on The Fosters, but you would think they were actually siblings. It's eerily crazy.
So good
how much
casting
she looks like both of them. And you know what? I've always wanted to see the 3 of them do something together and play family members. She looks a little bit different now that she's older. She's most recently been in Pretty Little Liars Original Sin.
Okay, that's a sequel series?
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's a sequel or
a
if
prequel?
It's just a remake or something in the Pretty Little Liars universe. I haven't watched that one, but she stars in that. But yeah, I'm very familiar with her. And like literally every time I've seen Madison Bailey's name, my brain goes, Bailey Madison? She was in this? No, she wasn't. Every time.
So she waxes on about a bright, shining star dying, leaving ripples across the space-time continuum. She says, unfortunately, that's a lot like her life. And, of course, she's talking about the person who died in her life.
In all of this that she's talking, this is her statement that she is writing to NASA, applying to be in their their internship program.
Gotcha.
So this is her personal statement that she's writing, like basically like.
Shouldn't she make that a little bit less depressing?
She's all like, "Woe is me. My life is a black hole, and I'm trying to figure out where I fit into the universe."
Aw, okay. I don't think she's going to get in using that.
She did get in.
She did.
During this whole voiceover, what we're seeing is her getting an acceptance email from them.
That's right. She gets a good news via text, rides off on a scooter as she tells us she's applying for a NASA internship and starts talking about the 2003 killings by the Sweetly slasher, killing 4 teens, including her sister. It's the
Sistery?
I don't know why I pronounced it that way. Sister.
Even the easy words, Dave. Come on.
It's the 20th anniversary of her death. She goes on to say the past overshadows her future.
You know, it's actually the 21st anniversary because our present date is April 18th, 2024.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yep. She doesn't know where she fits in. She goes to school and talks to her teacher, Mr. Fleming, and celebrates the good news about NASA. Mr. Fleming is played by Jordan Peddle, 21 credits, including Cold Creek Manor, an episode of Warehouse 13, and The Strain. He is the only person to show up in the past timeline. Like, when we go back to the future, he's the only one that we met in the present that we saw. Well, actually, I'm
That's
sorry.
not true.
That isn't true. We do see your parents, but...
There's 4 characters. There's him,
Yeah.
the parents, and the waitress.
Oh, yeah, Dolores. I forgot about her. That's right.
As
Yeah,
well as, I guess technically the killer?
I guess. All right. So, Mr. Fleming is played by Jordan Petit, 21 credit. Did I do this already?
You did.
Okay.
You did. We're good with him.
Okay. Did you say anything for him?
You got him.
Okay. He quickly deduces that she hasn't told her parents yet. She says she can't tell them on this day of all days. Mr. Fleming says she taught her sister, and Lucy says that she didn't even really know her.
Well, she didn't know her at all because
Right.
she wasn't born yet.
She asks about the turtle, Mr. Pickles, and how long he's been in the box. He says 20 years.
And again, I'm going to say actually at least 21.
Right.
I think some of this is because this movie actually was in production for a very long time. It got delayed
Right.
for release. So I think they meant to actually release it in 2023 when it was 20 years.
Right.
But it didn't come out until 2024. And that's one of the things is Time Cut and Totally Killer were in production at the same time.
Oh, okay.
But that one came out first, which is why it feels like this one's the copycat, but really they were both in production at the same time.
Gotcha. And she says he knows how he feels, Mr. Pickles, that is. Mr. Fleming says, don't let your life just happen to you. Take control of your future, which sounds a sentiment that's very similar to the one in Freaky. When it's the two friends talking, she's like, I don't want you to spend your entire life living for someone else and realize you never live for yourself or something along those lines. So Lucy walks down the halls as a couple girls are talking about the Sweetly killings. Why are they talking about the Sweetly killings?
It's the anniversary. The school probably had an announcement. There's a whole display case about it. This is a big deal in this town. This is the only thing that's ever happened in this town.
It was just kind of weird. Like,
it's the anniversary.
Right. Okay.
So it's like, how people reminisce about 9/11 on the day.
Gotcha. So one of them makes the comment that someone should start a podcast.
Right, which is definitely Totally Killer. I have my note there because that's a huge theme of that movie.
Yes.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yep. At home, she goes...
One of these girls is Jessica. I was able to identify one of them. She'd played by Summer H. Howell. I was able to recognize her only because I know her picture on IMDb.
Gotcha.
I could tell it was her. She's the one who was like, "Ooh, the mall. They died at the mall. Gross."
That's a weird thing to say.
Kids don't go to the mall anymore.
I guess not, but still, I don't know.
This is one of those things where they're nodding to the time.
Gotcha.
Malls aren't cool anymore in 2024.
Okay.
Summer H. Howell. She was in an episode of The Spencer Sisters, 3 episodes of Channel Zero, Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky.
Gotcha. So
I don't know who the other girl was.
She doesn't matter. At home, she goes into Summer's old room.
Which is basically a time capsule to Summer.
Yep.
Nothing's changed. Mom's kept it exactly how it is. Her computer's still there. Her posters are on the wall. Get the impression Lucy's not allowed in here.
Yeah. What this kind of reminded me a little bit of? I got shades of the movie It, with George wandering into his little brother's room who died. It kind of reminded me of that, and I actually expected her mom to be super pissed that she was even in there.
I think she was,
but she didn't express it.
Yeah. Right? This is like a common trope, right? Where the dead kid's room is just immortalized to them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not really a thing in real life.
No, you just tear down.
I don't feel like people can afford to just leave rooms untouched.
Right.
They need that space.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? My question here is, in the past, Lucy's room, what was that? Because we don't ever go there and see what it was in the past. But they just had this spare room waiting for this kid they were never going to have.
Right. Yeah.
Instead of giving her Summer's room.
Right. Yeah, so she's looking around the room. She plays a radio, which plays, I think it was Michelle Branch. It was a song.
I didn't know what song was playing, but it was definitely a moderns or a Y2K song because it's Summer's CD that was being played.
So yeah, she finds the radio, an old phone, looks under the floorboards where she finds a bunch of letters. The one she reads sounds vaguely threatening, and it's signed E.
It says, "Summer, now I'm free, but you'll never be. You'll regret this. E."
That rhymed.
It did.
Oh, well, she's very poetic. Well, I'm sorry. A spoiler moment there.
Well, if you don't already know what's going on, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
Spoilers. I'll go ahead and tell you. The person who we think wrote this, Ethan, is not who wrote it.
Right. So her mother interrupts her and tells her it's time to go.
And he's like, well, what are you doing in here?
This is Kendra. The only reason I know that is because I saw it in your notes.
I had to do research to be like, who are the parents?
Right. I figured out who Michael Shanks and as Gil was. I couldn't figure this one out. And I should have, because actually the picture looks very similar.
Yeah. We got spoiled by doing a couple Prime movies in a row where it just tells us who's on the screen. Mm-hmm. And in this one, I had to be like, okay, wait, new character. Time for me to credit somebody. Who is this? The mom, Kendra, is played by Rachel Crawford. She was in season 4 of the series Slasher. She was in 2 episodes of The Expanse and 2 episodes of Being Erica.
Oh, okay. All right.
One of our legacy series.
Yep. So she has dinner with her parents.
And Summer or Lucy. How many times am I going to mix up Summer and Lucy?
I mean, they're very similar looking girls, basically.
But it's just like these 2 names, like every 5 seconds in my notes. And while I was taking notes, I was like, how many times are we going to mix up who we're talking about?
Right.
Lucy tucked the letter in her pocket. So she has it with her. That's an important note.
Her dad, who is there, is played by Gil, played by Michael Shanks. 68 credits, 4 episodes of Smallville. A regular on Stargate SG-1 and appeared as the character in other spin-offs as well.
He played Daniel Jackson in all things Stargate.
And an episode of Eureka. And you know what? I figured I would recognize Michael Shanks when he came up on my screen. I very much did not. He looks very much older.
Didn't recognize him either until I was taking these notes, and I went, oh!
Right.
He also was in 2 episodes of Virgin River. And all 85 episodes of Saving Hope.
And they are served by a waitress, Dolores, played by Miriam Bernstein. 37 credits, including Category 7, The End of the World, which is a movie I did actually see, and some Christmas movies.
Yeah, my notes just say a bunch of Christmas movies. That's all I got from her. But they're at the Olive Garden. And you know what? Dolores, she's really the character who we need to pay more attention to, because poor Dolores just spent her entire life working at the Olive Garden.
Oh, I know. Man. 20 years and she's still there.
Yeah.
That's
remind
crazy.
You of anything?
Yeah, myself. But anyway. So, by the way, Dolores makes a comment here that she looks very much like Summer, her sister that she never got to meet. She tells her parents about NASA. And they, of course, are trying to talk her out of it. Her mother tells her to, basically, he's like, well, why don't you come work, spend the summer with me at my job?
Yeah, he works at Sonar, which is going to become important.
Right.
They're a nuclear research facility. I don't think we know that yet, but we're going to learn that.
Which just happens to, make cartridges that help people travel through time. But anyway.
Yeah. So, she was right. The whole thing she was talking to Mr. Fleming about is they're not going to let me go. She's right. She's telling him now, and they're like, we're not going to let you go because they're overprotective parents. They have lost a child. So they're not going to let their daughter just go hang out in D.C. for the summer.
Right. Her mother doesn't specifically say no. She says she's going to put a pin in that conversation. But the overall tone of this conversation is no. So they happen to go...
Oh, and Gil also mentions how Mom used to cook lovely meals, and she does not do that for Lucy.
No. So they go and pay their respects to Summer, which happens to be at the very barn where she died at. Her mother asks if she brought something for Summer. She's like, oh, yeah, I totally did. She goes to the car to get it. She's just looking for anything that she could leave. And she decides to take off her necklace and include that. And then notices some noises coming from the barn.
And a flash of light.
Right.
A weird flash of light.
Right. She walks in, and I'm assuming at this point that this is the killer traveling backwards through time.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions about the logistics of this movie, and I'll get to it at the end, because that's where I have all my notes for it.
Well.
But this is where we start those questions, is like, what's the timeline of events here that she stumbles upon this just hanging out in the barn?
Right. So she walks in, finds some kind of device. She pushes the start button, which, why in the heck would she do that?
I mean, she's a kid. You see a button, you push it. And the device, by the way, says sonar on it.
Right.
Which is the company her dad works at.
So she just pushes the button that, for all she knows, can, like, activate the self-destruct button.
Right.
2 lasers come out and start making a light show.
There's a screen that says April 16th, 2003.
Yeah. There's a blast, and then it's seemingly over. She exits the barn, and once you know, things look a little bit different.
Yeah, the place is no longer dilapidated.
It has a fence even.
And her parents are gone.
Yep.
And the shrine to her sister is gone.
Yes. She's confused. She calls up her mom, but they are gone. And her phone doesn't work.
No signal.
Yes, imagine that. She runs into town, notes the Riverside Grill is open. I guess it was closed in 2023.
Yeah, we did see a flash at the very beginning of the movie when she was, like, going to school that, like, the whole town's, like, boarded up. It's basically a ghost town. The whole town is just, like, run down and empty.
Right.
And now it's, like, bustling. All of these closed down, boarded up businesses are no longer that. They're all open and hopping.
Yep. And she reads a banner that reads 2003. She runs to the school to talk to Mr. Fleming. She goes into the school, and things look decidedly very different.
Yeah, she has this moment of culture shock. And this is the clip that Netflix plays when you, like, scroll over the movie and it shows a random clip of the movie. This is the clip it shows, is her walking into the school. And it's one of those funny moments in the movie where we're like, whoa, we're at a different time.
Right.
But the fact that, and this is where it hits, I'm going to say both of us, because I'm sure you feel the same way, that it's like, that doesn't feel like that long ago.
It doesn't. No.
They're like, oh, look, they have bigger cell phones, and they're wearing, different clothes.
And they're riding, they had those shoes with the wheels in them.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember having those, but they actually were more popular with my daughter when she was younger.
I think so.
Than,
like 2010s, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, so she then sees her sister walking down the hall in slow motion. I wonder how she manages to do that, walk in slow motion like that. So she walks right past her. Basically, Lucy has her eyes straight on her the entire time.
Well, yeah, it's her dead sister she's never met. Of course she's going to fixate on her.
So she follows her. She spies on her. Summer is talking to her friends. They're talking about going to the mall that night. This is Val and Brian. Val is played by Sydney Sebastian, 14 credits, including normal. Do you have anything else for her?
She was in 3 episodes of Channel Zero, and she's in an upcoming 2026 film called Psycho Killer.
Ooh.
That looks like a good one.
Brian is played by Kateem O'Connor, 20 credits, including 11/22/63, which eventually I think we're going to cover. Degrassi, The Next Generation, which I swear that you and I watched an episode of that together. Like, I have a very clear memory, and I went and looked for the episode, and I actually found the episode and the moment that I was talking about with you, but according to you, that never happened.
I've never watched the show in my life.
This conversation happened last week in Totally Killer, and I swear to God that happened.
Different timelines, Dave.
I mean, I guess I've been Mandela affected or something, and I'm in a different time.
One of us isn't from the same place as the other.
All right.
He also is in 10 episodes of Murdoch Mysteries and 10 episodes of The Way Home. Again, time travel show.
All right. Ethan tries to talk to Summer, but this conversation doesn't go well. Apparently, they recently broke up.
After being together for 2 years.
And this is a person that Lucy recognizes. Lucy goes to visit Mr. Fleming, who's looking much younger, but doesn't know who she is. She brings up that she asks what he thinks about time travel. Quinn, who we met at the beginning of the movie, drops a jar, and he comes around to say, going back to the past would be a bad idea. It might create paradoxes. The bell rings for lunch, and basically he's like, oh, you two, go to lunch. Like, I'm going to point out the fact that Mr. Fleming doesn't actually know who this person is. And she's instructing...
but you're going to assume it's a student at the school and she's just not in your class.
All right, fair enough. But lunchtime is not always the same for everyone. Like,
maybe it was in this small town.
Okay, maybe.
In 2003. Maybe they only have 50 students.
Right.
I don't know.
So on the way out, she says, by the way, Mr. Pickles deserves better. And she's like, how do you know Mr. Pickles' name? But anyway... We then see something about to happen with Ethan. His friends are prepared to drag Quinn to the river. Lucy asks what's going on. A girl answers it's a senior tradition. Lucy recognizes her as Emmy, played by Megan Best. 21 credits for her, including Nobody, the original one, 2 episodes of The Irrational, and Flag Day.
She was in the movie Dawn, which is one of V.C. Andrews' stories. She was in Bring It On, Cheer or Die.
I saw that. So I was a little confused by that credit, by the way, because Bring It On was a cheerleading franchise.
Right.
It wasn't a horror franchise.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Like, is this a horror version of Bring It On, or what is this sequel? I don't know.
I didn't look into it, but I
Me
meant
neither. And then she was also in a film called Dark Harvest.
All right. So Lucy gets involved with the whole preparing to throw Quinn in the river thing.
And it's Ethan, Brian, and some other guy.
And basically stops it from happening. She ends up knocking over Ethan before a teacher ends up getting involved. And by the way, this act of violence seems to attract Summer's attention. This is very similar to a moment in Totally Killer, where basically the main character there, whose name I can't recall all of a sudden, but she basically gets the attention of her mom, Pam, by committing an act of violence against a male guy, a male person, a male friend that they know. Randy specifically, who, he's a jerk and kind of stupid in that movie. But yeah, it's kind of, that's an interesting...
Jamie was her name, by the way.
Jamie, yes. So she gets the attention of the person she's trying to get the attention of by committing an act of violence against a fellow student.
Sure. I have a question.
Okay.
Skipping ahead to, spoilery stuff, and we know, who the killer is and why this is all happening. Why is Ethan never on the hit list?
That is a question I was going to bring up.
Ethan, 100% should have been on his hit list.
So, I guess I'll get into this now, but since you're bringing it up. So, Quinn is the killer, right?
Future Quinn, specifically.
Future Quinn. So, let me get this straight.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there. Lots to talk about, but...
He waits 20 years after this incident to invent the time machine and decides, I'm not over this thing that happened to me 20 years ago,
right.
Which isn't even that big of a deal. I mean, are you really saying that getting dunked in a river is something you're going to hold on to for 20 years?
It's more about Summer, I think.
Yes, so basically, well, I'll get into that.
We'll talk about it all later, but yes. Those are the reasons. He specifically cites this incident that in his timeline happened.
Yes.
In today's timeline did not happen.
Yes, it was stopped by Lucy.
Stopped it. Now, why would Ethan not be on the hit list?
Exactly. He should be. He totally should be.
Because he specifically says, so I decided to kill Summer and all of her friends.
Right. But Ethan is the one who dunked you in the river.
Right. And Ethan was her boyfriend.
Right.
So, he should be at the top of your hit list.
Yes, he should be the first one to go.
Yeah, in none of these versions of the timeline did Ethan ever get killed.
Right.
So, I have a problem with that.
Yes. So, Quinn is not happy that Lucy came to his aid, but he should be, because it prevented him. I mean, basically, this eradicated that timeline where he grew up.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about it. We'll do it at the end.
All right.
I have a lot of things I want to do at the end, Dave.
All right. She says that where she's from, he would have been filmed and posted all over Twitter, and of course,
whatever it's called now. She says,
right,
which is a nod to the Twitter name change to X.
Right. He of course doesn't know what that is. She confesses to him that she is from the future and shows her his phone. He marvels at it and thinks it must be like $1 million.
Yeah, I really think he overreacted in his reaction to looking at this phone. We have phones in 2003. Yeah, we don't have smartphones with touchscreens that do all of this, but he's like a science nerd. He should not be that flabbergasted looking at this phone.
Right.
I feel like he had a way bigger reaction than Lauren in Totally Killer did looking at Jamie's phone.
Lauren in Totally Killer didn't have any reaction at all to anything.
Right.
She was just kind of blasé about it.
But everything. I feel like we went the other direction too far with the way Quinn reacted looking at this phone.
Gotcha. Maybe like a middle ground somewhere. Yeah.
Right.
So outside, Summer argues with Emmy. We don't actually see the argument. We're seeing it from Lucy's perspective looking out from the barn. Quinn starts asking questions about the future, like something like, is Paris Hilton still hot or something like that. I don't think it was Paris Hilton.
That's what he said, yes.
Paris Hilton?
Yes.
Okay, I got that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So Summer comes in home. Well, at first she's like,
She doesn't come home. She comes into this
the barn.
The barn that they're in.
I don't know why.
Which is like at the school.
Right. Yeah. But no, like Lucy is like what? That's your question? You're gonna ask me anything about the future, and you're gonna ask me if Paris Hilton is still hot? Like, get your priorities straight. And I think this is a pretty standard teenage boy's priorities. But anyway, so yeah, Summer comes in, apologizes to Quinn about Ethan. This felt kind of manipulative. I mean,
absolutely.
She's not as bad of a person as this little moment here makes her look, but she's like, yeah, about that chem homework. And basically he is doing her homework for her.
Right.
She seems to recognize Lucy as a camp deer kill person who peed in the pool and denied it, and Lucy is basically like, yep,
She goes along with it, because, she doesn't want to tell Summer who
right.
she is or admit to anyone else that she's time traveling.
So on her way out, Summer says...
go ahead, yep.
Okay, on her way out, Summer says it was nice meeting her, and her middle name is Lucy.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like Lucy knows that.
Yeah.
This feels like news to her.
Right.
Like,
and I'm sure it's not good news.
It's another
either.
slap in the face
right.
that she was just named after the dead sister.
Right.
Like, not only is she a replacement for her and she's always felt like she doesn't belong and her parents kind of suck. You were literally named after the dead girl? Cool.
So Lucy takes Quinn to see the time machine. She realizes the date and she asks if he's doing anything and then says, let's get her home. And then says, let's get her home. What?
That's correct. She realized the date, which is the date of the first two killings, and she's like, I'm gonna nope out of here.
Okay.
She's like, get me home today,
okay.
please.
I didn't understand my nope.
No, that's literally how she said it.
Okay.
She has no inkling here of wanting to help stop the killings.
Right.
That is not on her radar at all. She wants the frick out of this place.
Quinn brings her to his garage. They bring the time machine in, and Lucy realizes the cartridge is labeled sonar.
I'm also going to point out that when we do our the camera's panning across his room, the garage where he his little workshop, it closes up on one of his tabletop minifigs of a Grim Reaper with a scythe.
Oh, okay.
And it stops on it for several seconds.
Okay.
And I don't know if that was supposed to be
foreshadowing,
right?
Yeah.
He's the killer with the scythe.
Right.
But also the fact that it was a Grim Reaper ties really beautifully into Totally
Killer. Okay. So yeah, this apparently involves nuclear technology that her dad works with. Summer again tries to talk to Emmy, but Emmy isn't having it. Emmy says she made her choice and to please leave her alone. All right, so even when I first watched this movie, I'm like, okay, these two are lovers or were lovers at some point. Just everything about the way these two are interacting feels like a lover's spat. So it's pretty obvious early on that these two are or were a thing and aren't currently because they're having some kind of fight for some reason. Now, I don't really remember what the attitudes were in 2003. It's definitely way more accepted now.
Yeah.
But I think it wasn't something that was totally unaccepted back in 2003.
Right.
And actually, I'm not even really sure about current attitudes because things are very different now.
Things are weird now.
Yeah.
But yeah, where this lands, and we don't know this yet, but basically what happened is they are a couple. They decided to come out.
One of them did, and the other one didn't.
Emmy did, and Summer
couldn't bring herself.
She couldn't do it.
Yeah.
She got cold feet, didn't do it, and now, of course, Emmy's pissed off at her for making that decision to basically break up, really.
Right. So Quinn asks why she was concerned about the date. He's asking Lucy this question. Lucy asks if you knew something bad would happen, would you try to stop it? Quinn's instant response is no.
Absolutely not. You're going to break time if you do that.
Okay, but that's not the question that she asked. She asked a very vague question. If you knew something bad was going to happen, would you stop it? Even if you take that out of the context of time travel.
Sure, but he knows she's a time traveler at this point, and he believes her.
Fair enough, but I don't know. I would maybe ask more questions about what exactly you're talking about.
He doesn't want to know.
Right.
So he has a very clear stance, which is interesting because the other version of him doesn't have this stance at all, right? So
Right.
where did he change?
Well, even this Quinn, who has a very clear stance,
he
flips.
changes, and that's because he's in love with Summers.
Right,
why
right.
he flips. But he says it would be way worse than Marty McFly. We get a direct Back to the Future reference here,
Right.
just like we did in
Yes.
Totally Killer.
Yep.
But he says in his version of what he thinks time travel is it could create a paradox, and then everyone everywhere, the whole world's just going to blow up and disappear if
Right.
you change anything. So don't.
Right.
But if you really think that's the case, you've already changed things.
Yeah.
But he's very much like butterfly effect. Nope, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know. I can't know. Let's get you the frick out of here before you break the world.
He's kind of like the Doc Brown character at this moment in the 1955 past, who's like, nope, don't tell me anything.
Right.
Even the smallest knowledge could like radically alter the timeline or even destroy it.
Right.
But Lucy asks if she has a moral obligation to do something if she knows something bad is going to happen. And of course, his position is still no. So Quinn says she has her bring her to Summer so that she can steal her dad's key card.
Right. She's after the sonar key card to get in and steal antimatter, because we're making that sound like it's super easy to do.
Right.
To break into a nuclear facility and steal antimatter.
I mean, all you need is a key card, right?
All you need is a key card. That's it. It's all you need.
Well, I mean, it's 2003. Security sucks.
I don't think it sucks that bad. Did you ever watch Travelers?
I watched the first episode. We've had this conversation before.
Okay, so you haven't gotten to the
yeah.
part where they're from the future and they're in the past trying to steal antimatter.
No, I didn't know
There's
about
a whole storyline around that.
No.
Or they're trying to stop it from being stolen, or they're trying to stop it from blowing up, because big spoilers for Travelers. Sorry if you haven't watched it yet, but go watch it. It's fun. There's this whole plot line in an episode where what's supposed to end the world is that there's going to be this explosion because somebody's trying to steal antimatter or transport antimatter or something. Like this minuscule little droplet of antimatter blows up the world. And they have this whole ridiculous plan to stop this from happening. And just to look at this, oh, we're going to do antimatter, these teenagers, because we have a key card. It's just such a drastically different story.
Well, at this point, I'm pretty positive that antimatter doesn't actually exist.
It does in 2003 sonar. It's super high-tech facility.
Okay, good to know. Anyway.
I don't actually know anything about real life.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I
don't either, but I'm pretty sure antimatter is a sci-fi concept that doesn't actually exist in real life.
I feel like it does exist. I feel like we know it exists, but not we don't know how to harness it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is we don't
have
the ability to harness it.
Right. Yeah. I think maybe. Again, I don't know nothing about science.
I'll look it up when we get off. But anyway, so yeah, basically the plan is Quinn gives Summer the homework, but it's the wrong one.
Yeah, he gives her oh, I don't think I wrote it down.
I didn't either. But
he gives her calculus instead of chemistry.
That's right.
Yes.
And he's like, well, Lucy here knows all about science and whatever and blah, blah, blah. So she can help you with
and
homework.
Also, this is where Quinn found out that Lucy is Summer's sister. He didn't know that fact before.
Oh, okay.
But he's like, this is your house? What? This is Summer's house. He's like, no, you can't talk to your family.
Quinn awkwardly leaves and goes to work. So she's invited in. She meets her parents at a younger age, though they don't really look that much different than they do in 20 years from now.
I mean, I think they're at the age where they shouldn't look too different.
Mm.
There was some makeup to make them look older in the current day scenes.
Okay.
I don't have as much of a problem with them as I do with the character we're going to talk about later.
All right. So she...
And the parents are really different, right? She's
right.
like, yeah, this is my parents, but wow, I've never seen them like this. They're so alive, and
right.
they're cooking dinner, and they
right.
invite her to stay for dinner, and she's just completely beating her parents.
So she's eyeing her dad's ID badge, and totally words coming from the scene. And
totally kill her.
During dinner, her mom said she was doing better in school when Emmy was teaching her or tutoring her or whatever.
Helping her, I think,
right.
is how they worded it.
So she asks if they patch things up. Summer looks saddened and says no.
And I'm questioning here. Do you think the parents know that they were a couple?
No, but I will tell you that based on the end of the movie, it is suggested that the two of them are a couple.
They are a couple.
They are hanging out with the parents.
The parents are very accepting of this.
Yes. So
we do have a happy ending.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
To this movie. I kind of feel like maybe she knew already.
I mean,
and maybe that's what she's hinting at is like
right. I mean, there's a lot of things you don't know about your kid, but there's some things that you just know. And like one of the things is like you can totally pick up on the vibes of your kid having romantic feelings for somebody, and so on and so forth. So I'm sure you're right. I'm sure they already kind of know. But and they are obviously a lot more accepting than Summer is giving them credit for.
Right.
So Lucy asks if they cook all the time like this. And her mom says, nope, her and Summer cook together all the time, and it's her favorite time with her.
It's not a no, that's a yes, Dave.
What did I say here?
You said no. Do they cook together all the time? You said no. The answer is yes. Yes, they cook together all the time.
Okay. I don't know why that's in my notes like that, but yeah. So Lucy looks a little sad because
her family doesn't cook.
Right. So this moment here, it's very much like rubbing salt in the wounds of the whole, her parents cook all the time with Summer, but, never do that with Lucy. It's making her feel even more like crap.
Right, because the life that she wants, that she deserves, is the life that Summer has. And it's like, oh, my parents they're not present for Lucy.
Right, not at all.
They aren't there for her because they kind of lost themselves when they lost their daughter. And Lucy's just kind of there.
Yeah. They had Lucy as a Summer replacement of sorts.
She was a replacement baby.
Right.
And it's really unfair to her.
Yeah.
Because they're not good parents to her.
No. So, they basically say that, she's welcome there all the time, which is really even more funny because in the, present day, she doesn't feel welcome there at all.
Right.
So, we go out to the swing set. It's the same swing set that we see.
It's an old boat.
Old boat, okay.
And it's turned into it's like a tire swing, but it's a boat.
Right.
And we saw Lucy in this at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
One thing I want to point out is they did not make any effort to make this boat look 20 years newer.
Right.
In the past, which is really a detail that I think could have went a long way that they didn't bother doing. It looks just as run down in 2003 as it does in 2024. If they had repainted it for the 2003 scenes, that would have been a nice detail, so it looks run down, 20 years weathered in Lucy's time, but they didn't. It looks the same.
Right.
Which I feel is just one of those details that they could have done so easy and they didn't do it.
So Lucy says that her parents are nothing like her parents. Summer says that she isn't great at anything. She basically sucks at all subjects, math, geography, science, gym class, whatever. You name it, she's not a very good student.
Yeah, and her mom's always on her case about it.
Which, basically, it's funny because you had said to me at one point that Lucy is basically the exact opposite. That she's a very
Lucy
good
has
student.
Good grades. She just got accepted into an internship at NASA. That's not going to a slacker student.
And her parents basically don't give two shits.
They don't care.
Right.
So she's like flabbergasted, I think, that the parents care so much about Summer's grades and are getting on her about it. And she actually is excelling. She's doing all the things Summer didn't do, and still she feels like the stepchild.
It's funny, later on in the film, she will say that she was trying to live up to this person that died all these years ago, and she's actually almost kind of surpassing her in a lot of respects. She can't,
no matter what she does, she can't live up to her.
Right.
That's the point, is it's impossible to live up to the memory of the person who's gone, even if you're doing everything they did and more.
Lucy asks if that's why Quinn does her homework. Summer mentioned that he offered, and that he's very much like a brother to her.
Yeah. Sorry, Quinn.
I'm kind of glad that he's not there to hear that, but yeah. So Summer asks what she was going for with her outfit. And we have a extended sequence of Lucy getting a makeover and trying on various outfits.
Yeah, she's going to try on all these Y2K outfits. Summer's, like, taking her under her wing and like, girl, you suck. Let's get you in fashion.
And basically, this is their bonding moment. And it's probably one of the most lighthearted sequences in the film.
Yeah, they're becoming
Yeah.
sisters
Aww.
or best friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going to point out that Lucy digs the clothes.
Yes, yes.
She's like, wow, I'm totally okay with this.
Totally.
And it really that's kind of an important detail if you think about where this movie ends, is she's comfortable with all this.
Right. Yeah. So she looks at pictures and says that her, Brian, and Val have been friends for a long time. And Summer asks, how'd you know that? Lucy starts listing off various social media that doesn't exist yet, including MySpace.
Yeah, she goes in order, and it's very impressive that she does this. She goes Facebook, MySpace.
Right. Now, I'm going to point out the fact that MySpace actually did exist in 2003, but it basically started becoming a thing in August of 2003, which would be...
And we're in April right now.
Right, yeah. So we're a couple of months...
We're a little early for that.
But nevertheless, it did come out during that time. It just wasn't a thing just yet. And then she just says that Quinn told her.
Yeah.
So that was the easiest way to go. She says that she was impressed by her, the way she stood up to Ethan. And Summer says that she could never do that. But Lucy thinks that she could. Lucy says she wishes that they could go to the mall. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Summer says that.
Yeah.
She says that she wishes she could go to the mall and meet her friends.
Yeah, she wants to introduce Lucy to Brian and Val, which brought up a question for me. No one ever questioned, where did Lucy come from?
Right.
Like, is she a new student? Is this her first week at school?
I mean, that's a big...
We never talked about that.
That's a big problem, especially at the end of the film.
Yes, but I mean, even right now, before we know about time, like, nobody knows other than Quinn.
This isn't the 1980s where you don't even know the meaning of the word verification.
Summer's like, I think I recognize you from summer camp 3 years ago.
Right.
But nobody's like, oh, are you in our school now? Did you just move here?
Right.
Like, Summer knows that she doesn't know her friends.
Right.
But nobody's questioning, like, who she is or why the heck she's here or where she came from.
So is she attending classes at this point?
Like she's just like, you're at my house helping with my homework. Cool.
Right, yeah.
Super cool. We're best friends now. Is that what it's like to make friends?
I
Is
think
it supposed
so.
to be that easy?
I mean, maybe in 2003 before social media. So I would say that it's easier to make friends when you are this age, when you're in school, than our experience as adults. I think that's a universal thing, even before social media. But it's especially bad nowadays because of social media, I think. Like, the same thing that connects us all and makes it so that we can communicate from people with, across, the ocean, and we can talk to Hayden McQueenie and have him come on our channel. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing that makes it really hard to make friends like in our own zip code.
Right. This is how come all our friends live far, far away.
Right. Exactly. So, and that's what a little dig at social media and all that jazz. But
without it, we wouldn't have these friendships.
Right.
So,
exactly.
I'm not going to complain about that.
Right. And I'm the biggest addict out there, so but yeah. So she. As they're talking about the mall and meeting their friends, we see Brian and Val shopping together. And then we come back to Lucy and Summer, who says Val is the sweetest person. Lucy has a hypothetical. If you knew something bad would happen, would you try to stop it? All right, so she doesn't have the same context.
Right.
Of this
she doesn't
question.
know we're talking about time travel.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the chance to think about paradoxes.
Yeah, so... So it's basically the same question, except it's asked in a very different way.
Right.
But Summer says, yeah, of course.
Like, of course I would. Who wouldn't try and stop something bad from happening?
I mean, if you frame the question like that, who would say, nope, I would not? But Lucy asks, what if it caused something bad to happen later, intervening? And Summer says, I would still try to stop the first thing from going bad.
Now, and I think in this instance, Lucy is talking about what if it causes a paradox. She's directly comparing this to Quinn's answer. I don't think it's really hit her yet. Because I think it hits her later when she's about to tell her. I don't think she even contemplated yet that she's a replacement baby.
Right.
And if she stops the killings, she probably won't exist. I don't think that's even dawned on her.
No, right now she's questioning the moral, ramifications of time travel and making changes in the past.
Right.
And Summer's answer here is useless because she doesn't have any context for it whatsoever.
Right. Like, what kind of bad thing? Oh, the world will end? Maybe we should think about that if, fixing one thing's gonna, end the world. Which we have no proof that would happen.
Right.
Like, time travel, these are all theories. Like, maybe she really should have talked to Fleming some more, a grown-up who might have a more formed opinion.
I mean, I don't necessarily love Quinn's answer to the question. Just no.
Right.
But at the same time, he has more context for it than Summer does.
Right. But it's really like, do you let, a couple people die to save the world? It's very much the Institute dilemma.
Yes. Yep. So basically, this basically inspires Lucy to go and prevent the murders.
Yeah, she realizes the murders are like about to happen, and she's like, I gotta go, and she just leaves for them all.
She leaves somewhere in her dust, very confused, and they haven't even completed her homework yet because they spent the entire night screwing around.
Right.
As teenagers do.
She leaves stealing a scooter. It's a very Back to the Future moment.
The mall is closing in 5 minutes. Lucy runs into Mr. Fleming, who goes, "Oh, I don't run into my students very often out in the world," and this is a very weird moment, but anyway. She walks past Ethan, who sticks up a middle finger. I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think the point of this is she's seeing all these characters, and it's like, who's the killer? Any of these people who are here could be the killer.
Val is trying on clothes despite them being about to close, while Brian is playing around with toys.
The store clerk here is played by Alana Howard Scott. She was in films such as A Dash of Christmas and A Winter Getaway.
Ooh.
And she doesn't want to let Val try on clothes, but Val convinces her. And then a minute later, the clerk's gone.
Yeah.
She's not here. Did she just leave the store while she had customers still in it?
Maybe she did. Very, dedicated employee. Lucy ends up spotting Quinn coming out from his job.
Yeah, he works at the video rental store, which is in the mall. I find that weird. Was that a thing? I don't feel like that's a thing.
A video rental thing
in the mall?
No. There were certainly stores that sold DVDs and such. I can remember some very specific
but he's a rental place, right?
I don't
Isn't
remember
it showing us he's a rental place?
I don't remember rental places being specifically in the mall. No, I've never seen that before. But yeah. Brian's still screwing around. The lights go out. Brian loses a toy. Meanwhile, Lucy is asking where Brian and Val are. And Lucy runs off, and Quinn's asking her why. Why, what's going on?
Cause she never told him, what the bad thing is that's supposed to happen. People are going to die.
If she had told Quinn might have talked her out of it.
Right.
But Brian looks up, finds himself looking at a masked man who promptly cuts his throat, and that's
with the American Psycho DVD that he had just rented.
Oh,
from Quinn.
Okay.
Because Quinn was like, "Yeah, they were here." Brian rented American Psycho.
Val discovers him and scream. The killer goes after Val, who attempts to hide. Lucy intervenes, finds it's too late to save Brian. She takes Val down an escalator, but the killer is down there. So they try to go back up the escalator, but the escalator ends up getting reversed. And Val is murdered while...
Yeah, Lucy gets up, Val trips, Lucy's screaming for help. There's a security guard.
Yes.
Now, the security guard runs to help.
Right.
The security guard, by the way, is played by Robert Borges. He's a stunt performer. And very similar to our slasher, B.J. Varro, he has almost identical credits to him. He did stunts in, I think I took the exact same credits down, actually. A Long Walk, Clown in the Cornfield, Violent Night, and they had tons of other overlaps as well. So I think those two must work together.
I'm sure they do.
Pretty regular, like as a pair, because their credits were almost perfectly aligned with each other.
Well, I'm sure one of them enjoyed killing the other.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, the security guard ends up getting in the mix of this. Val ends up still dead.
Yes.
And this was a gruesome death. Now, these are really our only two... Well, we have one more death later, but these are our only two slasher deaths.
Yes.
he smashes her head into the escalator.
Yes.
And, like, rips her face off with it.
Yes.
And, you know, I have a thing with escalators. I don't like them. Probably, mostly because I don't like heights.
Right.
But, like, also, like, yeah, they feel dangerous. And this is one of those things that
doesn't
like,
help?
doesn't help. No, this
Right.
is, you know, what Final Destination 2 did for logging trucks.
Right.
Is what I see when I look at this.
Absolutely. Like, if I see a logging truck that you know I'm driving behind, I'm like, nope, I'm getting a wet ride on this. I'm not dealing with this. Like, yeah, absolutely. That Final Destination 2, or I think that was 2, right?
Yeah.
Definitely had that kind of impact on me for sure.
But after all that, the security guard is stabbed to death, and oopsie, he wasn't supposed to die.
All right, and basically Quinn gets here in time to see the murders, or at least the aftermath of it.
Right, and let's point out, this makes us, you know, not suspect Quinn as the killer, because it's not him.
Right, yeah, not at this moment.
It's not that person that was working at the mall.
And Quinn basically, but that's actually accurate, but the killer looks up at them and basically stares at them, and that's the end of that.
Right, because this is, I think, probably his first time seeing himself.
Right, yeah. Quinn gives her a place to stay. I'm a little confused about this.
She's sleeping on his boat.
Okay. And maybe this is where she's going to live after this, but...
They don't give us much. We'll talk about that later.
Lucy says the security guard did not die. The sweet killer just got more deadly.
Sweetly
Slasher.
Slasher.
I knew that was wrong.
The Sweetly Slasher.
Quinn said only serial killers get names. Okay, that's not true. Assassins also get names. In fact, they get like 3 names.
No, but those are their real names.
Okay, fair enough. So that this is
He's
more
like, you don't get a nickname just by killing once.
Gotcha. Quinn says not to tell him anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to know. You can't tell me anything. But then he starts asking questions. He's like, but do they catch the guy? Like, he's really concerned, but also, like, knows he shouldn't be.
Right. I mean, that is an interesting conflict of, you know, not wanting to know because you think it's going to be bad to know, but at the same time, being extremely curious at the same time.
And it's really a fun layer when you look at this and know, well, it's you. You're the killer dude.
So, curiously, her mom said that she always thought it was Ethan. But he had alibis for all the murders, supposedly.
I mean, he was at the mall.
Right.
How's that an alibi? He was literally there.
Quinn still says they can't stop this. They need to focus on getting her back. She still needs to get her dad's ID badge. In the morning, Lucy enters the house and sneaks around and is caught by Summer, who has already gotten wind of the fact that her friends are dead. And she says, you know, you said you need something bad was going to happen, and then you left to go to the mall, and then my friends were murdered. That isn't a coincidence.
Yeah, and, you know, I found it interesting that she doesn't, like, get freaked out that Lucy's, like, in her house. She just wants to ask her about Brian and Val.
Right.
Like, why are you here? How did you get in?
Right. Lucy confesses to being her sister who hasn't been born yet. She proves it with a letter from Ethan that she found under her floorboard. She says, you don't have to believe her, but why would she be making this up? Maybe because she's a killer? A psychotic killer, perhaps?
I mean, right? We should, just like Totally Killer, we should be suspecting this person that just showed up.
Right.
And knows who's going to die.
So Lucy says this and just leaves.
And Summer says she's never seen the letter before, but takes it from Lucy.
Quinn is working on the machine. She still doesn't have her dad's badge. She turns the computer on and starts coding or something.
He's very impressed by her computer skills.
They discuss matter and antimatter and specifically bring up quantum entanglement, which references back to Quantum Leap, the revival series. And the modem makes a dial-up sound, and today's teens don't know what the heck that is, but I sure did. Actually, were they even doing still dial-ups in 2003?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
It was probably, I think, a mix.
Quinn says it sucks she has to leave. It's nice having someone around. Lucy isn't thrilled to go back either. She says no one really sees her. Quinn understands this, he says, emotionally. And Quinn says he would like a peek at his future. He says he...
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah. He says he just hopes it's better than this.
It's not.
I mean, it depends on your perspective. Maybe he's happier, more fulfilled being a serial killer. But anyway.
And during all that, between all that, we saw Summer go to her locker and actually get the letter from E. So she's holding both copies of the letter.
Okay.
The one she just got and the 20-year-old one. And now she's like, oh, wait, maybe I should believe her.
Summer enters and says to Quinn, you believe her, don't you? Summer asks questions and says, and Lucy ends up saying, you have a great life, a husband and all that jazz. She asks who killed Brian and Val.
And you can see the look on Summer's face when she mentions this annoyingly handsome husband. Because Summer's like, I do?
Right. Lucy doesn't know who killed Brian and Val. Summer wants to try and stop it. Lucy tells her that, basically Emmy is next. And tonight Summer says that they can't just let this happen. She makes a plea to Quinn, who's been arguing this entire film, by the way, that they should not intervene.
Can't do anything.
And Summer bats her eyes at him. He's like, okay, yeah, totally, we gotta do this.
He's like, let's save him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the world won't end. I'll help you.
I'm supremely impressed by him sticking to his principles or ditching his principles as soon as a pretty girl says, you gotta do this.
Priorities.
Yes. I mean, it totally tracks. But, at the same time, universe ending, and basically, Lucy's saying the same thing. Hey, you were saying that this would destroy the world, and now you're just like, let's do it?
This is a funny scene because Summer's like, we're not destroying time, we're just giving it a makeover.
Right.
Or not. Summer said that.
Yeah.
I think I said it backwards. It's a cute little scene.
Right.
But remember, also, we're talking about saving someone's life, so this is the right choice. They don't know anything bad's gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. So Lucy looks conflicted, but asks, how are we going to do this? And then we get a rock song and a slow motion walk as they prepare to go and save Emmy.
And they all have, weapons, like a tire iron and a baseball bat.
Yeah. Emmy, meanwhile, is unaware that she's about to be murdered. She puts on a...
So she's working. She works at the Marine Museum, which is a bunch of old ships. She's their night cleaner. So the museum's closed. She's mopping the floor. She puts headphones on. And I want to make note.
Is this where you were singing along?
I was singing through most of this movie, Dave.
Gotcha.
She is listening to Avril Lavigne's Complicated. And it wasn't until my fourth time watching this movie, which is the time I'm taking the notes, that it dawned on me, oh yeah, that's perfect. Of course Emmy's listening to that. Because what's she going through? She's going through the fact that her girlfriend refuses to be herself that she is with her around everybody else.
Right.
So this is her little anthem right now. She's playing, she's not listening to the radio. She put on a CD. This is her little mixtape of what she's feeling. And this is the perfect song for her. It's not just background noise. And that didn't hit me until like I said, my fourth playthrough. And I was like, oh wow, that was a great choice of what Emmy would be listening to right now.
So she has her headphones on. She's dancing while, cleaning. She doesn't hear the phone ring. So since they can't reach her, they decide to go to the museum, and they wander around this creepy museum calling for Emmy. Emmy, meanwhile, is cleaning. Suspenseful music is playing, and Summer sees her across the way but can't reach her or get her attention because she's got the headphones on. She's listening to music. Same reason why they couldn't reach her by phone.
And meanwhile, Lucy beats up a diving suit because she thinks it's the killer.
Right. Summer manages to get in there just in time to get to Emmy. They run off. A chase ensues in the dark. The killer is up on top of the boat while the four teenagers manage to get off the boat, sneaking off.
Yeah, they're climbing down a net.
Right.
On the edge of the boat. This is the most action-y part of the movie.
Right. They take Emmy home. Summer walks Emmy to her door. We don't see how that plays out.
They hug, so they're friends again, at least.
We don't actually hear the conversation.
No, we're listening to Lucy and Quinn talk.
Right, yeah.
And Lucy says she's thinking maybe they could save the next person, too. That felt pretty good to save a life.
Yeah, and she reveals to Quinn that the next person to die is Summer herself. Quinn says they have to get her out of there right now. He insists that he needs to tell her, that she needs to tell her. And he's completely changed his tune. He's totally...
Yeah, he's like, why are we not crossing state lines?
Right.
Why are we still here?
Right.
Let's save her.
Right. Fuck the rest of the world. You know, if everybody blinks out of a picture of themselves, who
I'm
cares?
surprised he doesn't say, why don't the three of us just go in the time machine together and run away?
Right. Yeah, he could have... Lucy, when talking to Summer, realized that her and Emmy see a thing. Oh, no. What? No, okay. Okay. Lucy, when talking to Summer, realizes that her and Emmy are a thing.
Yeah, they're at Olive Garden,
Right.
by the way, the two girls. And she's decided to tell Summer, right?
Yeah.
So she's trying to work it up to telling her the truth.
Summer says that she was going to come out to her parents, but she couldn't. Lucy says that things are better in the future. They aren't perfect, but they are better. Kind of debatable right now, but yeah.
Yeah, this was pre-2025.
Yes. She asks, then why did Lucy say she would end up with a husband? That's a very good question, by the way.
And the point is, because remember, Lucy was lying.
Yes.
Because Summer's dead.
And
she didn't want to tell her that.
And despite the fact that she's bad at every single subject that ever invented, Summer is not stupid.
Right.
She's actually pretty smart. Lucy says there is something she needs to tell her. Then we see the same waitress that we saw, Dolores, is also helping them. Summer asks if they are friends in the future, I guess.
Yeah, she's like, hey, are you and I friends? Like,
Right.
I know I'm 40, but we're
Right.
sisters. We're friends, right?
Right.
And, that's pretty much, I mean, not quite as extreme as my age difference with my youngest sister. She's, in her mid-30s or mid-20s now. But, yeah, like, that's a thing, right?
Right.
Like, when
Yeah.
you're that far apart, like, how close are you?
Yeah, it's a very different relationship when you're that far apart.
Right.
Yeah.
It's different than, oh, we're the same age in school together.
Right.
So yeah, she's asking these questions about like their life because she believes her now, right?
Right.
So she wants to know about her future and about their sisterly relationship while she's 40. And this is the moment it dawns on Lucy. Because Summer's like, why did our parents wait so long to have you? She's like, were you an accident?
Right.
And she's like, no, like they did IVF and everything.
So
And she's putting two and two together. Like, oh yeah, right. I was only born because you're dead and mom and dad wanted to replace you with a new baby.
Right. And this she decides not to tell Summer, and I think there's two reasons for this. One, what you just mentioned, and also because she just can't quite bring herself to tell her sister the truth.
She can't bring herself to tell her, but I think mostly she's like, wait, maybe I don't want to save her.
Right.
I can't tell her she's going to die and then not save her.
Right.
But I can't save her because I'm going to cease to exist, maybe?
Right.
Because my parents aren't going to have me.
Right. So they're sleeping in the same bed that night. She ends up going downstairs where she's caught by her dad.
So she's trying to sneak out early in the morning. She's like, I'm going to get the badge, I'm going to leave, and I'm going to let Summer die.
She ends up talking to her parents. Her dad asks about her plans, and she mentions NASA, and they are so impressed by this.
Yeah.
They couldn't give a shit, in present day, but they're super impressed now.
And they're like, your parents must be so proud of you.
Yeah, about that. Anyway, every scene between Lucy and her parents in the past is just like twisting the knife even further. But Lucy asks them if they ever thought about having another kid. Her parents say, nope. Could you imagine?
Yeah, they just laugh at the idea.
Right.
And because she was kind of like, well, maybe they'd still have. No, they're like, nah.
I mean, yeah, parents say that, but, things do happen.
Yeah, but that's not what happened with her.
Right.
She wasn't an accident. They intentionally replaced Summer.
Right. So she swipes the ID badge.
Now,
and
I have a question.
Okay.
Like, this has to be a really weird question that these parents are getting from their teenage daughter's friend. Have you ever thought about having a baby?
Right.
I feel like they should be wondering if Summer is pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
That her friend's like, so, do you ever think about having another baby around here?
Yeah. And, actually, it's kind of funny because, we'll talk about that later. But, yeah, so she swipes the ID badge, and then she leaves the house. She returns to Quinn. She finds the card that with a letter.
The red envelope that we saw at the beginning of the movie in the last timeline.
Which confesses his feelings for Summer.
He's in love with her.
Oh,
and he's ready to tell her.
Yeah. I'm totally shocked by that sequence of events. That anyway. So Quinn arrives. She hides the letter, not very convincingly, by the way. And Quinn asks, "Did you tell Summer?" Lucy says no, because she thinks if Summer lives, that Lucy will never be born. That's some pretty heady stuff. Quinn gets angry and says he can't just let her die. Lucy reveals that he knows that he is in love with her. Quinn claims it's not about him. I don't know that I buy that, but okay. Lucy says that it's complicated. He storms out angry. And this is the one hint that we get of Quinn's possible future.
Right.
This scene right here with this level of anger, that we get the sense that he could turn into this person.
Right.
But yeah, Lucy finds Summer, and
we see this montage first, right? She is in town and she's listening to families talk, and you see this moment in her eyes. She's had a change of heart. She's thinking, and she realizes oh, wait a minute, that's my sister. Right. And I know her now. I can't just let her die. She has this little moment of a consciousness hitting her.
Yeah, so she finds Summer and explains the situation.
Lucy, in the boat swing.
In the boat, yep. In the boat swing. Lucy says she never really existed anyway. Her life was defined by Summer's death. Lucy says if she lost her, she would be lost too. Summer says, it's okay to want to live. It's okay to be selfish.
Yes, Summer understands what she's facing.
It's kind of an impossible situation.
Right.
And yeah, it's a multi-layered, situation it's hard to contemplate. And how would you deal with this?
Right. And I think they come to a good conclusion. I mean, Lucy basically says I don't want to be in a future that you're not in, so I'm willing to save you. But here's the deal. We know if we just let her die, she's going to die.
Right.
We don't know for a fact what that means for Lucy.
Right.
It's all just speculation.
Right. She has a plan to save her, but she has to trust her. So we see her walking around in the woods. We end up at Sonar, breaking in.
Yeah, so she's got the badge. She's going to go in.
A person walks up behind her. We think it might be the killer, and it kind of is. And it's Quinn, who did indeed come. Quinn says he understands, or, he doesn't want to lose either of them. So this is also a complicated situation for him because, he's grown to really care about Lucy. He says, let's go steal some antimatter.
And she apologizes to him, for being selfish. So they're at a good place right now, right? They make up. And then they break in together because it's so easy. The fence is just wide enough of a chain on it they can slip right through. All they gotta do is walk up to the door and open it with the key card.
Right.
That's it.
Summer goes to the party, and her attitude here is very different.
Yeah, so she's going to the dance, the one from the beginning of the movie. And the same song's playing.
Yep.
What is Love? And
finds Ethan, and he's basically just let's party. Or her attitude here is totally different from what it was at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
Where she's really despondent.
Yeah, because she's not here mourning her friend. She's here in some plan to save her own life.
But
catch a killer.
I also think that based on some of what she does and how she acts in these scenes, that she kind of feels like she also expects that this might fail and that she might end up dying.
So I'll mention this here. Lucy said she has a plan, and we're going to soon see what their plan is. How is this a plan? The plan is go to the place you're supposed to die and attract the killer?
And then...
Why was our plan not, don't go to the party? Now, it wouldn't have worked in the long run because we know it's personal and she was the target. They don't know that, though.
Well,
they don't know it's not just some random person at the party's going to get killed.
All right, fair enough. But at the same time, I think going and just kind of playing out the timeline is the best way to predict events. But
they're not really doing anything, and I'll have more to say about it once we do stop it. But
their plan is stupid. What they end up doing is dumb.
Their plan is just go along with it. That's the plan, and then we're going to save you. Mm. But wouldn't you think your instinct would be stay as far away from there as possible?
Sure, but I think a better thing than what they end up doing, go to the party, but not have Lucy and Quinn go to sonar at the same time.
Right?
Have them be at the party to set a trap for
and
the
again,
killer.
I have more to say about
Right.
it, but I'll wait a few minutes
Right.
till we get there. I mean, it's real soon, but
Like-
so
like,
we're going back and forth between
yeah.
what they're doing and what she's doing.
Yeah.
And yes, they're happening at the same time, which also makes zero sense.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So, Lucy uses the badge to get into sonar. Quinn asks if he really thinks that they can both save Summer and get her home and stop the killer. Summer gets up and she's basically like, "Yep, I can totally do this."
And they see a security guard.
Right.
This security guard it's an uncredited listing, but he's played by Philip Barden. He was in a film called Zombies of the Third Reich. Nazi zombies.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Summer gets up on stage during Ethan's toast and says, basically, she toasts to a long life. And then,
So this is Ethan's toast. She
Yeah.
crashes it.
yeah,
She crashes, and notably, he's only toasting to Val and Brian this time because Emmy's alive. She's at the party.
and she decides to go and kiss Emmy and says, "You know what? I should have done this a long time
She
ago."
told her, "I love you." She came out to all of her friends by kissing her right here in the middle of the party, and it looked like nobody really cared.
No.
People took note and was like, "Cool."
Right. And yeah, basically she acts like she's saying goodbye, which is not unnoticed by Emmy.
Right. Emmy's like, why are you acting like I'm never going to see you again?
Right.
What is going on right now?
Quinn asks Lucy what changed about her deciding to save Summer. Lucy says she got to know her. She was always a looming presence that she could, never live up to. And now she is her sister for real, and she has to try and save her. Summer at the party encounters the killer. Summer says, "There you are," and then runs into the barn.
Yeah, so she's executing the plan, which is to go to the exact spot you're supposed to be killed, be there alone with the killer, and then she just kind of stands there and lets him kill her, is the plan.
Yeah.
I'm not loving this plan.
Basically, Quinn and Lucy go further into sonar. Quinn notices a cartridge already stolen and a very dead security guard.
Yeah, so there's 3, spots where antimatter tubes are just kind of, hanging out unprotected at sonar. One of them's missing. The glass is broken and it's gone. And then they see the security guard's dead in the corner, and they come to the realization very easily that the killer is from the future and it's his time machine. And, that's quite a leap. Yes, we can assume that whoever's time machine it is took this. And yes, there's a dead security guard, but that doesn't mean it's the killer. Doesn't mean it's this version of the killer.
Right.
It could be you from another timeline. I mean, it
It
is. But there's so many different scenarios this could be, right?
Right.
That we instantly jump to, the killer's a time traveler.
Right.
We got there really quick.
So, yeah, I mean, we kind of have to move this thing along, but Lucy gets to the spot and says, "This is where she dies."
I want to point out one, and that's Summer, by the way.
Yeah.
I want
Right.
to point out one thing Lucy says still at the sonar. Quinn is like, "Oh, the killer's just always one step ahead of us," and she's like, "He's not ahead a step of me because I'm from the future too." And it's corny and funny,
Right,
that
yeah.
whole sequence.
Yeah, the killer ends up grabbing a scythe, ready to kill Summer.
And she
But-
just closes her eyes. She's like, "I trust Lucy."
Just as he's about to kill her, Quinn and Lucy crash into the barn with a truck. All right, so what is this plan exactly?
Okay, here's my problems. Beyond
Yeah.
the fact that this is stupid, here's my real problem. We didn't even know that Quinn was going to come back.
Right,
Lucy had no idea he was going to show up at sonar.
right.
So what was the plan? Because this is his truck. He's the one driving. What were you going to do, Lucy?
Right. It seems like she had no vehicle or means to get to this location.
Exactly. Beyond the fact that we didn't know how long it was going to take at sonar, that we didn't know we weren't going to get caught breaking into a nuclear research facility. We don't know the exact moment the killing's supposed to happen.
Right.
How is this the plan?
So,
And then they're like, it worked. This was always our plan, that we were going to run him over in this exact second before he killed her.
all right. So, like I said, not that long ago, don't do the sonar break-in. You know where she dies, right? Okay. So, I still think that you should play out that timeline because then you can control events. You know what the events are going to be, so you can know how to intervene. If you change the timeline and don't go here, then anything can happen at that point. So my suggestion is that you play out these events, but with Lucy nearby, and presumably Quinn as well, and you set a trap for the killer.
Sure. Actually take care of the killer, then maybe we go steal antimatter.
Right. I mean, what's the rush there?
Right, exactly. Unlike Totally Killer, where we're like, oh, your battery's going to die in exactly this 7 hours. We never talk about her phone at all, because we don't need the phone. We have no reason that this has to happen before that happens.
Right, yes. So, basically, they succeed by pure dumb luck, not by anything they actually did.
Yeah.
Like, no plan. This is that plan.
What was the plan when Quinn wasn't part of this?
Right.
Which he wasn't, until he surprised you by showing up at Sonar.
All right. So, they run over the killer. And, basically, they get into the truck. The killer rises.
He's still alive.
Ooh. He ends up removing his mask, and Quinn realizes the killer is himself.
It's adult Quinn.
Yes, who looks exactly the same as younger Quinn.
Yeah. So, the actor, Griffin Gluck, he was born in the year 2000.
Okay, so you'd be 25 years now.
24,
23 when this movie,
this is being filmed.
Yep.
I was trying to decide, so he's playing a 18-year-old and a 38-year-old.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel like he looks 20 years older at all.
The funny thing is, his voice sounds very much older, but not his appearance that much.
I feel like all they did was slick back his hair and put a little bit of wrinkle makeup around his eyes, and it's hardly noticeable. He looks like it's 5 years later.
Right.
I find it weird that they didn't make this look like a different character at all.
Right. So, basically, they get the heck out of there while older Quinn looks pissed. Lucy says that they need to go for the time machine. Quinn says, hey, he knows where I live. Lucy is counting on it. Quinn says he's never going to become that monster, and Lucy believes him. And, he's never going to become that monster because, basically, Lucy already intervened in the incident that happened.
Yeah, but I have things to say about that, and I'll say it after we finish the movie. But I don't feel like she should be so quick to believe him. She's like, of course you're not. I believe you. I don't know. Okay.
All right. Lucy powers up the time machine. Older Quinn comes in and acts all crazy. Younger Quinn asks what happened to him. And older Quinn is like, no, what happened to us? Because we're the same, buddy. And then Quinn basically says that, he was alone, isolated, everyone treated him like crap. And then the river happened. He was dunked in the river. Everybody laughed at him. Oh my goodness.
They put me in the water that one day. It was just the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody. You got wet.
Yeah, and I...
And Summer laughed.
Right.
He said that.
Yeah, Summer laughed at me. But that wasn't the worst thing. When he confessed his feelings to her, he said she could never love us because, she doesn't feel that way. So basically, his entire motivation here is he's an incel. But, so I'm going to point out, he waited 20 years to build a time machine. And then he used that time machine to go back, kill all our friends, doesn't bother to kill Ethan because he's the one that did this in the first place, as he pointed out, and then kill Summer herself. That's a special kind of petty. So he spells it all out here. Yeah. He says, so I made a plan after she rejected him. He said, I'd made a plan to kill Summer, all of her closest friends, and then disappear through time. Ooh, that's a special kind of insanity. Yeah.
So then younger Quinn threatens to kill himself.
Yes.
Saying, well, if I die, you die. And he's like, that's not how it works.
Right.
And it makes sense that that's not how it works because they're already two different people on two different timelines.
Right.
This Quinn isn't on the same path as Killer Quinn.
Right. And then the time circuits warm up, and Lucy says, oh, there's something you didn't think about. When you killed Summer, you created me. And then she runs, tackles older Quinn, basically gets Summer and younger Quinn out of the building. And then Basically, the lasers light up. There's a flash, and
they're transported.
Yes, to present day.
To 2024, and Quinn's garage has been replaced with a parking garage.
I'm a little confused by that. I didn't think this was the same place, but I don't...
I mean, the last time we time traveled, she was in the exact spot.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, they tore his house down and there's a parking garage here now, I guess, is what they're saying.
Okay. So she chased...
and as soon as they get here, a car drives by. I assume this is where we're supposed to get the credits for Tesla Woman and Tesla Man. Now, we don't see who's driving this car.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming there's a deleted scene here that existed at some point. But we have credits for Tesla Woman, played by Chess Tomlinson, who was in 5 episodes of Meet the Richardsons, and Tesla Man, played by Joseph Krauser, whose only other credits were 2 shorts. But this is the only place that fits, because we're about to deal with Tesla charging cables, so I assume that's where they were supposed to be.
She has him chase her. A battle ensues. Future Quinn says, and she's playing around with the cables and trying to swing it at him, and Future Quinn says, I'm really going to enjoy this. But as he makes a stabbing motion, she lifts the Tesla charging port. He stabs it. He goes unconscious.
It electrocutes him.
It doesn't kill him, however, and she basically has to resort to stabbing him.
And she does.
She pulls out from him the bottle of sonar.
Yep, the one he had stolen. Now, didn't she also take one?
Didn't she use it?
So it uses a whole canister each time?
I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, that was my assumption, is that you would need like
a whole new canister.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Because otherwise, we would not need to break into sonar in the first place, because it was still a cartridge.
Right.
Unless like 2 uses was enough to end it. But anyway.
That falls under the I don't understand what's happening with this time machine category.
So, Future Quinn is dead.
All right, so now we're back in 2003. We're on the boat. Quinn and Summer are chatting.
Summer says she never had a sister. Quinn says at least the slasher is gone. But is he really? I don't know, because he's kind of like sitting right next to Summer at this point. Summer regretfully says, so is Lucy. Then we hear Lucy's voice say, no, I'm not.
She's back.
Yay. Summer hugs her. Quinn looks at her happily. Lucy says the slasher's dead. Quinn is like, oh, yay, and hugs her.
Right, like, that's you, dude.
Right, like, doesn't he have any kind of conflict here with that? Like, he doesn't feel any type of way.
You killed me, good job.
Right. So Lucy says that maybe she belongs here. Lucy tells her that she went home, and her parents had no idea who she was. But they did see her a couple of times in the past. Hanging around.
I don't remember that.
Okay,
so this is where we get the ending that Lauren and Totally Killer warned us is what would happen if you stopped yourself from being born.
Yes.
We never suggest that could happen in this movie, but it's explained by Lauren and Totally Killer that that's one thing that could happen, is if you frick up yourself ever getting born, you still exist, the physical person you are, traveling through time, but your life no longer exists.
Right.
Because in the new timeline, you don't exist, you were never born. But physically, you still exist.
It's funny that these two were in pre-production at the same time.
Yeah.
And they have, like, the totally different endings, but they have the ending that they suggested in Totally Killer here.
It's the ending that they said could happen what happened.
It's almost like you have to watch Totally Killer and then this movie.
Right!
Like, it's like requirement to watch this movie. But, yeah.
But she's came to the conclusion she was meant to be here with Summer.
And Summer wants to know more, and Lucy says, well, there is no husband. So, once again, sorry, Quinn. We hear Lucy write a letter to NASA thanking her for accepting her into an internship.
Well, no, this is her applying for the 2003 internship.
Okay.
She's doing it all over again.
Right. We hear her letter as we see Lucy walk with Quinn, who she calls her new best friend. Summer has a relationship with Lucy. Lucy eats with her family.
And Summer and Emmy are together.
Right. And then at the end, they're sitting on that swing. Summer says she always wanted a little sister. And then they fake argue about who is actually the older sister.
Right.
And that's where the movie ends. All right.
Okay, so much to talk about.
Right.
Like, for instance, about this already.
Like, for instance, so she has absolutely zero identity.
Right. So, did they end up telling their parents who she is? Like, did they adopt her as, like, their daughter?
I mean...
Is she living with them and it's like, oh, you're just Summer's friend, but your parents suck, so we're, like, taking you in? Is she living on Quinn's boat? Where's Quinn's mom and has anything to say about this?
How did she
apply to the scholarship, the internship, when you literally don't have a birth date or a social security number?
Or even any kind of records of any kind?
Yeah.
Because so, yeah, there's a lot of questions here, and a few lines of dialogue would have helped. Even explain a little bit of this. Where's she living? Like, how did she enroll in school? Like, I'm sure Quinn's a smart guy. Maybe he could, like
fake it.
Fake an identity. But could you tell us that, please?
Right. Exactly. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
And if this is the letter you're writing to NASA, did you tell them you time traveled? Like, was that part of this? You're telling them the whole story? Because they would probably just think you're crazy. They would not give you the job.
Right. No. No.
Okay, let's talk about Quinn.
Okay.
So, we just had that line of him like, I'm never going to be that person. And she's like, I know you're not, and we're all best friends.
Right.
I'm sorry, but we were shown that this person, this character, has the ability to be so crazy that you're going to hold a grudge for 20 years.
Over something minor.
Over being rejected and being bullied. Which, like, everybody's dealt with that, okay? Everybody.
I mean, shit, I think I went through worse, like, than getting dunked in a river back when I was the same age.
Right. But we're holding that grudge for 20 years. And then either inventing or stealing a time machine. We never find out how he actually got the time machine. Did he invent it? Did he steal the whole thing from Sonar?
Right.
Like, did Sonar invent it? Does he work at Sonar? We don't know.
Right.
But he waited 20 years, got his hands on time travel technology, went back in time, and instead of fixing his life, by the way, fixing that Quinn's life, he uses time travel to murder the girl that rejected him.
And
all of her friends. Brian was involved in the river thing, but what did the girls do?
Right.
Nothing.
Right. Maybe they laughed.
But we're killing Emmy, we're killing Val.
Right.
We killed a security guard this time around.
Right.
Just because, he was there. I still don't know why, Ethan was never on the hit list, but whatever. I'm going to go ahead and say if he's capable, if this person, this human being is capable of 1% of those things, which you have evidence he is, he's a walking red flag.
Yes.
You cannot trust him that, because he didn't get thrown in the river this time, he's cool now.
Right.
Nothing in his life's ever going to turn him into a psycho killer.
Right.
He's not going to react this way the next time a girl rejects him.
Or, he gets cut off in traffic or something.
He probably has a crush on Lucy now.
Right, yeah.
Is she going to reject him? Or is she going to, just end up with him because she's scared he's going to kill her?
Yeah, I brought up the incel comparison, and I'm pretty sure that's apt, because that's incel behavior, to be, obsessed over this girl, and then when she rejects you, yeah, you're right, absolutely. Maybe if we were given a little bit more about, what happened to him in the river, maybe he lost a leg or something, maybe a fish came up and took one of his toes, there is nothing that justifies this.
He's psycho.
We're holding on to a grudge for 20 years,
just
being dumped in the river.
Changing the events a little bit and having a new friendship.
Right.
He's going to take all that out of your ability to become that person.
Right.
Maybe you're not going to become that exact killer, but you're still freaking crazy.
I don't know. Maybe the fact that he saw what he's capable of becoming.
Sure.
And that he doesn't want to be that person.
Right. I guess that could help, but you still have the capability to be this really bad person.
Yes.
Even if you don't become a murderer, you are absolutely insane. And we should not want to be friends with this person. We should not want to be enemies with this person. We should not want to, we should be in witness protection against this person.
Right, yeah.
Because we know what he's capable of.
Right. Over a minor inconvenience and getting rejected.
Right.
I got rejected so many times. And, I was certainly bullied in my time. I did not wait 20 years and invent the time machine and go back and kill, 3 friends. And then, Because I mean, I wouldn't call myself the picture of well adjustment or anything like that, but certainly well more adjusted than this guy.
Yeah. Also, like, he could have just killed them at any point in his life. The fact that he waited 20 years and used time travel to do it.
That's the other thing. Why not just kill them in the present if you want to? Like, yeah, you definitely do not need to invent time machine to go murder people. Like, what is the point of this?
On that note, we don't know how we got the time machine.
Right.
And, okay, the fact that she just found the time machine in the barn,
yeah,
I'm so confused by the course of events. All right, one thing, the main thing you have to realize, like, if you just kind of watch this movie and don't look at it the way we're looking at it, seems like a very straightforward, simple story, right?
Right.
Oh, the dude went back in time and killed people. But if you're analyzing what this story is, you have to realize we never saw the original history.
Right.
The original history we're presented with is the history where Quinn already went back in time, was a killer, and murdered people.
Right.
So in the original history, there was no killer.
Right.
He rejected these people, and then they all grew up for 20 years.
Right.
And then we have a new original history, which isn't the original history, where there's a killer and 4 people died.
Yes.
Then, because of that new history, we have a third history where Lucy exists.
Yes.
So in the original timeline, Lucy did not exist.
Right.
She only exists in the first place because he went back in time and killed people.
Right.
So she literally shouldn't have existed, but she does. So this is at least the third iteration of a timeline.
Right.
But we never saw the original one. We don't really acknowledge it too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where in all of the... But he's the original Quinn. We never acknowledge second generation Quinn. Where's him? The Quinn that killed 4 people, but Lucy didn't exist, so he got away with it.
Interesting. So we're talking about...
That would be a whole different Quinn, because we're acknowledging first generation Quinn and third generation Quinn are very different characters. They don't have any overlap. They're different timelines.
All right.
So a second generation Quinn must exist. The one where Lucy doesn't exist and he went back in time and killed 4 people.
Right. So what did that second Quinn do?
Right. Where's he at? Right. He must still exist in time somewhere.
Right.
Because this Quinn didn't disappear when we undid him.
Right. And I don't know, like a Quinn that experienced the death of 4 people and didn't get rejected, maybe he still got thrown in the river, would be a very different person.
Well, no, he did get rejected. Oh, you're...
Not second generation Quinn.
Okay, so there's actually 4 generations of Quinn. Because we have the young Quinn from Timeline 2.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. Well, young Quinn, the second Quinn would have not been rejected because Summer died before she could reject him. So all 4 of those people dead.
Okay, yes. I have a note on that too.
Yeah.
I just gotta find it. Okay. I feel like that young Quinn from the second timeline, who never got rejected by her because he never got to profess his love by her,
right,
would just assume they were going to be in love and together forever. Would he not hold this revenge against the killer for his whole life? Because we know how he holds grudges.
He admits the time machine to go back in time.
He has to hold this grudge wanting to kill the killer of his love.
Right.
And should spend his whole life trying to figure out who the killer is and get revenge on him.
By inventing a time machine and going back in time.
So there should be like 4 Quinns involved in this time travel right now. Where are the other 2?
Right. Yeah.
And it would have been even more convoluted, but also better if we saw all of this, or at least acknowledged it in some way.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of steps to this story that we're not getting. We are not getting a full fleshed out story.
Maybe that Quinn just assumed that Ethan was the killer and murdered him at some point.
But that we weren't told that happened. Otherwise, that would have happened in this timeline.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna say
it's very convoluted if you look at it too closely.
I was gonna say that this actually makes the time travel mechanics. I was gonna say the time travel mechanics here actually make more sense than Totally Killer. But after this conversation, I'm not totally convinced that's the case.
It's not the case.
No.
I don't think that's the case because we're dealing with like, oh, every time we create a new reality, we're creating another set of characters that still exist.
Right. Yeah.
And
I mean,
out of all of them, there's only one Lucy, because she only exists in the version where time travel happened,
right.
but not where she time traveled.
Right.
But we should have 4, 5, 6 different Quins at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty serious problem. Actually, I smell a sequel.
But it wouldn't make any sense.
All right, fair enough.
Because they didn't address it already, so they can't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I just try to see which of all of these convoluted notes we've touched on, because I'm getting confused. Okay, so the time machine itself in the barn, that's where I started this, is I don't understand, like, where was Quinn? Did he use it already? If he used it, it should have went with him, because it went with her.
I'm assuming... I don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it went with her.
Well...
Or does it stay in both times?
I guess. Or maybe the time machine is in both locations. Like, I guess that wouldn't make any sense. But yeah.
But it was sitting there with the cartridge ready to go, that all
right.
she had to do was hit the start button.
That
makes no sense,
right.
based on everything else that's happening.
Right. My assumption was that Flash was Quinn.
He used it.
Right, going back in time. But
it's here and it's ready.
But also, if he hadn't done that yet, then Lucy should not exist.
Right. So is this is this the other Quinn?
Right.
That we don't meet?
Right. Yeah. Because so I don't know who was time traveling at that point. Because, like I said, if it was original Quinn going back to kill Summer and all her friends and all that,
that had already happened in this reality she's living in.
Right. Then she should not exist yet.
Right. But she does.
Right.
So that's not the moment he originally goes.
Right.
Or is it? It's a different version of him.
Maybe, yeah.
It doesn't work.
No.
There's a problem with it just being in the barn waiting for her.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, okay. So, Quinn uses the time machine to go back to the past, and the time machine just kind of stays in the barn. So that's not the original time machine. That's the one that's been sitting there for 20 years.
It stays in both times, though. Okay, first of all, it's been sitting there for 20 years. Somebody would have discovered it before now.
Right.
Well,
what's
and
this
it
thing?
had today's date on it.
Right.
And also, if it just stays, that would mean that, like, when Lucy left, they'd still have a time machine, which doesn't make sense.
No. Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
Okay, well, it's convoluted and complicated and not a complete story if you look at it too hard. That's what I'm going to say about it.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to read some more credits that I didn't figure out when exactly we met them.
And then I'm assuming we're doing the...
And then
we'll
just... I know this is getting long. We'll spend just a few minutes talking about Time Cut, Totally Killer.
Okay.
So in this movie, we also had Mr. Higgins, played by Graham Ashmore. He was in an episode of Channel Zero, which I didn't figure out who he was, but I think I caught the moment when you were talking. That might be the person who came to break up the fight after Lucy already broke it up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Which I didn't clock there was a person there when I was doing the notes.
Right.
But that's probably him.
Gotcha.
There's also a Mrs. T, played by Marina Stevenson Kerr. She was also in The Long Walk and Violent Night. We have a man, played by Liam Keynes. This is his only credit.
And what a credit it is.
He's a man. No idea when we met man, but he was in there somewhere. We have Sarah, which is probably one of the other kids we talked to at some point, played by Nyla Comis, and her only other credit is a short. Coach Jackie, I definitely don't remember meeting a coach.
No.
She was played by Gwendolyn Collins, who was in Orphan First Kill and 3 episodes of Channel Zero. We have an uncredited listing for a student, played by Connor Chinellis, who was in films such as Breakthrough and Winner.
That's come up a couple of times.
We had a uncredited restaurant patron, played by Jim Kirby, who was in The Grudge and The Exorcism of Molly Hartley.
Okay.
All
right, so comparison, Time Cut, and Totally Killer.
Yeah, so let's compare and contrast a little bit these two movies, which are so very similar, but also very different.
And so the first thing I noticed, just looking at the credit list, is like, there's not as many, actors in this.
Right.
And the reason for that is because we don't, get to know really anybody in the present day.
Right.
Basically,
we don't have different actors that play any character.
Right.
There's no character that has 2 different actors playing them.
Right.
Whereas in Time Cut, we had like 10.
Right. Yeah. So we don't even really spend that much time getting to know anybody present day before going into the past.
Right. The only people we see are the same people we saw, which was the same actors, the parents, the teacher, the waitress.
Right.
And then we get to meet two versions of Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, there's nobody else in this story.
Right. Oh, Mr. Fleming, but...
I said the teacher.
Oh, you did, okay.
Yeah, so that's a striking difference, is we don't have that need to, like, be like, oh, who's who?
Right.
Which was a huge deal in Totally Killer.
Right. And I kind of like that we got to know both sets of characters in Totally Killer.
I liked that about it a lot.
Yeah.
We were just kind of like, we're not doing all that here.
I mean, it's convoluted enough, what the story presented.
Yeah. There was a pattern that they both had 3 victims plus a relative.
Okay.
And all of them died over the course of a few days, except for Pam, the mom in Totally Killer, which died in the future.
Right.
But other than that, it followed this very same pattern where we're going to kill 3 kids, and then the last victim that we're trying to save is your relative.
Mm.
So very much so the same, like, setup.
Right.
One big difference, though, is that in Totally Killer, she wanted to travel in time. We had a friend building the time machine and pointing out, like, we could use this to stop the killer.
All right, but...
didn't actually intentionally travel through time.
In both cases,
but was working towards that goal.
In both cases, it ends up an accident that they end up backwards in time. And I kind of wish that in Totally Killer that they had made it intentional and not accidental. But yeah, in Totally Time Cut...
In Time Cut, it was, she had no idea about time travel, just suddenly like, oops, I turned on a time machine.
I just pushed a random button on this machine I've never seen before.
Right, whereas, like I said, in Totally Killer, we were trying to build a time machine. The good characters were building a time machine and had this idea that we could use this to stop the killer.
Mm.
That's also the biggest change, is Totally Killer. They want to change history. That's their goal.
Right.
Their goal is stop all of these deaths. We're trying to prevent each death. We're trying to stop the killer before he started killing and save all these people. They fail at it largely.
In fact, they do almost across the board.
They kill extra people.
Right. More people end up dying.
Yeah.
The same people end up dead plus more.
Plus more. Right.
So they fail pretty hard.
But in Time Cut, at least for the first half of the movie, it's all about, we don't want to make any changes.
Right.
She's actively like, I don't want to save these people's lives. That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really kind of an opposite stance until, she has a change of heart and then tries to save them, of course.
Right.
Now, I didn't write this down, but who did end up dying in this version that didn't die in the last iteration? We saved Emmy. Brian and Val still died. So two people are still dead. We saved Emmy, traded her for the security guard.
Right.
Anybody else involved in this? And then, of course, we saved Summer.
Quinn?
We saved Summer. We lost the killer Quinn, but this Quinn still gets to grow up and have a life.
Right.
Similar to
Chris
Dubasage.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else that died. That didn't die in the original timeline.
I don't even know if I typed that out, but obviously that's a big thing too, is we have a killer who is from the future coming back and killing people in the past.
Right.
Not the version of them in the past, but a version in the future.
Yes.
Although in Totally Killer, that was a copycat killer. We also had an original killer.
Right.
In this story, it's just the killer from the future.
Right.
So same but different also.
Mm-hmm.
But enough same that you can totally see why people are saying this is the same movie.
It's not, though, because,
But it still feels like, I've watched this before.
I mean, sure, but at the same time, so in one instance, we're going back and trying to save the mother. In the other, we're
trying to save the
sister. But, all right, at the same time, it's like she's wishy-washy about whether to save her or not.
Sure.
And we actually play with the moral dilemma and
right.
the whole idea of, if I do this, I don't exist anymore. We kind of played with that a little bit more. It's not the same movie.
It's not the same movie, but it's got kind of the same beats.
Yeah.
If you're not, again, looking at it too closely.
Right, yeah.
Where we have a teen traveling in time and trying to save a dead relative from a killer who kills a bunch of teens.
Right.
The killers, by the way, very similar. They wear a costume, they wear all black, or a mask, and they wear all black.
Different motivations.
Sure, but
Right.
very similar concept is,
Right.
is like, oh, this killer in a rubber mask that came one night and killed 4 people over the course of 3 days.
The original killer in Totally Killer was motivated by revenge, and basically stopped after getting that revenge. And then the second killer goes back in time just to create more death so that he can, become a more famous podcaster.
Right.
In Time Cut, basically the entire thing is motivated by revenge and killing just these specific people, and then that's the end of that.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess he didn't end up killing, like you said, he didn't end up killing Ethan, though he should have.
He should have.
Right.
He might be the one who deserved to die out of everybody.
I mean, mostly.
If somebody deserves to die, it was probably him.
Yes, absolutely.
Not that he actually deserved to die.
No, not that you need to spend 20 years inventing a time machine just to go back in time to kill him, but okay.
Let's see, we talked about that already. Both directly reference Back to the Future.
Yes.
We got that going. And I think I said this at the beginning, where Total Killer really kind of leaned into the slasher more, and this kind of leaned into timey-wimey, weird time travel dynamics more.
Right. Totally Killer was also totally different in the sense that there's a lot more humor. There's a lot more, playing around with the humor of a teen going back in time and meeting their parents and experiencing, like very different time frames. This one doesn't play with that as much, like Time Cut.
Yeah.
It's more serious-minded. It's more of a drama story. It's just, the story of these two sisters and coming to terms with the fact that she basically was overshadowed by a dead sister.
Right. You've got the
Yeah.
whole thing about
Yeah.
being a replacement baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of deeper in that respect.
It is. It's a lot deeper.
Yeah.
All around. It's more, you have to pay more attention.
Right.
You have to think about it more. Whereas Totally Killer was just more like, hey, we're making an 80s slasher.
Right.
And, you don't got to watch it too closely. And you can just kind of watch it for what it is and watch people get killed.
So I think the original question of which do I prefer, it's harder to answer because I think it's kind of apples and oranges. Because they're totally different things.
Right.
Their aspirations are different.
Right.
So which do I prefer? I guess whenever I'm more in the mood for at any given time. And it's actually funny because I've said in the past that I kind of like dark drama, and if by that standard you would figure that my answer would be easily Time Cut because it's more along those lines.
Right.
Yeah. But you said you arrived at an answer.
I think at the end of the day, and you're right, it depends on your mood. But after spending all this time and trying to make sense of it all and seeing how convoluted this story is when you get down to it, and it didn't tell a full story, I'm going to say I prefer Totally Killer.
Okay.
It's just easier. It's easier to watch. It's more funny. It's more horror.
And
it's a little less sci-fi, but it also has more time travel nostalgia.
I like where they go at the end of this movie with the ending. But Totally Killer actually kind of, it's a cleaner ending. We understand it more.
I have problems with both endings.
Yeah.
That's another way they're similar is they both have happy endings.
Yeah.
The characters end up in a place where they're cool and
right.
They saved somebody they love and all that good stuff.
In Totally Killer, she basically just continues her life as is, though with some major changes.
Right.
In Time Cut, it's like you abandon that life and go and try to create a new one because you don't exist anymore.
Right. But it seems like was her preference anyways, because her old life sucked.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, though, I prefer Totally Killer.
Okay.
But I do think they're both fun movies and worth exploring. And I hope everybody watches both of them because...
I think you have to.
You have to.
Yeah, at this point. Because
I do have one other note I wanted to circle back to about this movie. And it was something that... It was a realization I had while Lucy and Summer were talking about how Lucy realized, that Summer had a relationship with Emmy and she was coming out to Lucy and telling her the truth and saying how she couldn't tell her parents and all this. It reminded me in that moment that Lucy, I felt like Summer's story echoed a lot of Emily Fields in Pretty Little Liars. And I know you didn't watch Pretty Little Liars.
Okay.
But I felt like their storylines were very similar, where she dated this asshole jock for 2 years, breaks up with him at the beginning of the story. She's actually gay, but afraid to tell her parents. It was a very, very similar, like, through line.
Gotcha.
Okay? And then I realized, they both, Fields and Field. That's almost the same last name.
So you think this is some kind of homage?
And Summer's girlfriend's name is Emmy, which is very close to Emily.
Right.
So I almost went like, is this an intentional nod to Pretty Little Liars? Did we borrow that storyline? Is Ethan Ben? I know you have no idea what I'm talking about, but
someone might.
It hit me that there was some very strong parallels there, even as far as like the characters' names.
Interesting.
And this writer definitely doesn't shy away from nodding at people with characters' names.
Right.
Like in Freaky, we had characters, very direct homages to characters from Friday the 13th Part 2. And then we had all these like, Craven and Myers and all of this stuff. So I don't think that's out of possibility that maybe they're a Pretty Little Liars fan and intentionally like borrowed from that plot line a little bit and paid homage to it by naming these characters Field and Emmy.
Perhaps. I mean, it makes sense. All right. Do we have anything else to say before concluding?
That's all I have for this. So that concludes our 3-movie arc into the teen slasher sci-fi movies.
Yes.
And I really want to know what people think comparing those 3 movies together. Did you enjoy them all? What's your favorite between Freaky, Totally Killer, and Time Cut?
That's a tough decision.
Yeah, because there's a lot of overlap and differences and samesies and all this cool stuff. And I think that if you enjoy that genre, you probably like all 3 of them.
Yeah, and like I said, we added a 4th movie.
Yes, but it's going to not be part of our It's About Time playlist.
Right. Yep. It wasn't originally part of our plans. It was last year, but it didn't quite work out. It kind of nudged its way into our plans by being in theaters and being available to stream. And that would be the movie Casper.
Casper, which is in its 30th anniversary this year.
Yes.
We went to see Casper 30th anniversary for my birthday recently.
Yes. Yep. Happy birthday again.
Thank you. And so we are going to be talking about that next.
Yep. All right. We'd like to hear from you. What'd you think of this movie? What'd you think of this podcast? What'd you think of these 3 movies that we talked about? Stacie, we reached out.
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at TV and Coupon Talk.
If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join the Core Productions Facebook page. You can buy something from the Core Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a copy. You can join the Core Productions membership starting at 99 cents a month. And of course, you can like, share, and comment on this video as well as subscribing to the channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Core Productions, signing off.